Thunder cracked across the violet sky as the ancient spires of Elendril glimmered, each window reflecting the surging magic that pulsed beneath the city streets. Lyra darted through the crowded market, her worn cloak trailing behind her, eyes catching every shadow. Her heart hammered. Today was different. She could feel it sewn into the wind. She clutched a tattered parchment, its ink faded but the symbol unmistakable, the sigil of the Starfire Gem. She ducked behind a cart brimming with fire fruits just as a group of armored figures swept past. Their leader spoke in a cold whisper. "Find the girl. If she escapes, the prophecy cannot be fulfilled. The Shadow Clan does not tolerate failure." Lyra squeezed her eyes shut, steadying her breath. The words from Master Orin echoed in her memory. "The world bends toward darkness, Lyra. Only the Starfire Gem can return the light. You alone must find it." A squeaking voice startled her. "You look lost?" Standing at knee-height, a fox-faced boy with mismatched eyes grinned. He had wild hair and carried an emerald-bladed dagger. "I'm fine," Lyra lied, glancing nervously at the shadowy streets. He leaned in. "I'm Finn. You're looking for the forest, aren't you?" "I know a secret path." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. She had no other choice. As they wound through Elendril's labyrinthine alleys, the city's magic shimmered strangely around Finn. He stopped suddenly and drew a rune in the air, a hidden door sliding open, revealing the edge of the forbidden forest, black trees, silver fog, and the chill of countless secrets. "Ready?" Finn whispered. A howl pierced the dusk. The Shadow Clan was closing in. Lyra swallowed her fear, gripping her staff. The first step toward destiny was always the hardest. "I'm ready," she breathed, and together they disappeared into the tangled darkness, unaware of how deeply their fates and the worlds had changed in that single fateful stride. A low mist crawled across the mossy floor as Lyra and Finn pressed deeper into the forbidden forest. The branches arched overhead, their twisting shadows like spidery fingers reaching for the pair. Every step felt heavier here, as if the air itself was thick with whispered warnings and ancient memories. Finn's eyes darted left and right. "Keep your voice down. The trees listen, and sometimes answer." Lyra nodded, but her mind whirled. "You said you know a secret path. How?" Finn flashed a crooked grin. "My mother was a sprite. She taught me to follow the patterns, the moss, the wind, the light. The forest lets me pass." They pressed on, Lyra's staff glowing faintly, guiding the way. Just as they reached a clearing filled with luminous blue flowers, a heavy footfall echoed behind them. The air crackled, then a massive shadow lunged forward. A wolf, its fur black as obsidian and eyes burning amber, blocked their path. It growled, low and thunderous. Lyra froze. "What is that?" Finn stepped forward, voice shaky but clear. "The night wolf, protector of the inner woods. Don't make sudden moves." The night wolf circled, sniffed the air, and let out a snarl. Lyra's palms tingled with energy. She raised her staff, mouth dry. "I can distract it. Run if you can." Before Finn could reply, a stone whirled through the air and struck the wolf's paw. A figure in a cloak darted from the shadows, wielding an ornate bow. "Don't! Fight is not needed." The night wolf snarled again, but the stranger whispered words in an ancient tongue. The wolf backed down, muscles tense but retreating into the brush. The stranger lowered her hood, revealing fierce green eyes and pointed elven ears. "I am Aaron. The forest favors those who respect it. But the Shadow Clan comes. Ride with me, or perish." Lyra exchanged a look with Finn. She felt the pull of destiny, strange allies, unfamiliar dangers. But she also glimpsed something else. The path to the Starfire Gem was not meant to be walked alone. As Aaron melted away into the woods, they followed, deeper into shadow and legend, the fate of Elendril hanging heavier with each passing moment. The trio moved with silent urgency, Aaron leading them through snarled roots and whispering ferns. Every so often, Lyra heard the distant shriek of a nightbird or the chanting of the Shadow Clan somewhere far, yet always too close. The sense of danger pressed in from all sides. "We're not safe yet," Aaron murmured. "They hunt by scent and shadow. This way." She guided them into a cavern hidden by a twist of vines. Inside, the walls shimmered with veins of crystal, softly illuminating Aaron's composed features. Finn slid down against the wall, panting. "We need a plan," Lyra whispered. "We don't know the way to the Starfire Gem." Aaron drew a rune in the dirt. "The gem lies within the Heartgrove, a glade beyond the Bonewater River. But the river's cursed. No map leads there, only legend." Finn perked up, eyes wide. Legend says a ferryman's spirit haunts the bone water. He asks 3 questions and turns away the unworthy. Lyra straightened. Then we answer. Together. Aaron met her gaze, voice low. There's more. The Shadow Clan's leader Morgrath seeks the gem too. He'll destroy anyone in his path. Finn gripped his dagger tighter. We can't let him get it. Suddenly, the cavern pulse stilled. Magic in the air quivered as a shadow flickered at the entrance. Lyra readied her staff. Finn backed behind a cluster of crystals and Aaron drew her bow, every muscle poised. A figure entered, tall and swathed in a ragged cloak. For a heart-stopping moment they feared the worst, until the stranger lowered his hood, revealing gray eyes that shone like storm clouds and a careful, uncertain smile. Peace, he said. I'm Rowan, once a scholar of Elendril, struck low by Morgrath's curse. I saw your fire. Let me help. The prophecy concerns us all. Aaron hesitated, then nodded, lowering her bow. Lyra extended a hand. If you know the path, lead us. As Rowan nodded solemnly and the group grew to 4, resolve formed like iron within Lyra. For the first time, she believed they could do it, if they could trust each other, or at least survive the journey's next turn. With the Shadow Clan gathering and the cursed river ahead, there was no turning back. Dawn bled gold through the tangled forest as Lyra, Finn, Aaron, and Rowan pushed on toward Bonewater River. The woods grew stranger still. The trees seemed to watch, their bark whispering secrets just beyond hearing. At the rear, Rowan traced invisible symbols with his fingers, his face troubled. Lyra glanced back. What's wrong? Rowan hesitated. Morgrath's curse grows every step I take toward Heartgrove. I feel it pressing against my mind. Aaron gave him a stern look. Speak if you falter. Don't let the Shadow Clan seize your will. Brush rustled ahead. Finn tensed, readying his dagger. But it was only a flock of moondoves scattering at their approach. They reached the Bonewater River by midday, its surface silvery and still as glass. Faint blue lights flickered beneath, and the air hung thick with enchantment. Finn shivered. That's it, where the ferryman appears. Aaron eyed the far shore. No bridge, no boats, only legend. As if summoned, a hooded figure emerged atop the black water, gliding in a half-seen spectral skiff. Eyes empty and ancient regarded them. A ripple of cold dread moved through the group. The ferryman's voice was the sound of stones grinding. Who seeks passage? Lyra's voice rang clear. We do, for hope, for Elendril, for the light. The ferryman nodded, drifting closer. Then you must answer. First, what weighs more, destiny or freedom? Aaron spoke swiftly. Freedom gives destiny meaning. Second, what is gained by sacrifice? Finn replied. Trust and loyalty, the things worth fighting for. The ferryman's gaze fell on Rowan. Last, can darkness ever become light? Rowan trembled, the curse gnawing at him. He forced the words, voice shaking, only when someone dares to hope. Silence fell. The ferryman bowed and lowered a spectral plank to the bank. With hearts thundering, the 4 stepped aboard, river mists closing in as the spectral boat drifted across cursed waters. Each friend clung inwardly to the answers they'd spoken, aware the real tests still lay ahead, just beyond the next shadowed bend. Mist twined around the boat as the ferryman guided them over the Bonewater's eerily calm surface. All was silent save for the soft dip of the skiff's pole. Lyra tried not to look down, but when she did, she saw faces in the water, ghostly echoes of those who had failed. Finn shivered, clutching Lyra's sleeve. Don't answer their calls. If you do, you'll sink. She nodded, but heard the drowned voices nonetheless. Lyra, come back. Give up. With a start, Aaron hissed, eyes forward. Shadows ahead. On the far shore, dark shapes moved. The Shadow Clan. Morgrath himself stood at their head, a towering figure wrapped in a swirling cloak, darkness coiling about him like living smoke. His eyes burned like cold embers. Rowan retreated behind Aaron. That's him. The curse stirs. Morgrath's voice echoed over the water, oily and powerful. Little sorceress, give up the quest. No mortal can hold the Starfire Gem against me. Lyra forced herself upright, gripping her staff tighter. We choose hope. We choose each other. The ferryman hissed, You are nearly across. The gem's heart calls to you, but it will demand a price. As the skiff touched the shore, Morgrath raised a twisted hand, sending a wave of shadow toward them. Aaron's arrows cut glowing lines through the dark. Finn threw a knife that shimmered with magic, and Lyra drew lightning from the sky, the storm's wrath channeling through her. It was barely enough. The group stumbled onto dry land as Rowan formed a desperate barrier of light. the exertion nearly breaking him. Morgrath's smile was cold. "Run, children. The darkness will find you in the Heart Grove." They fled into the tangled underbrush, hearts pounding in unison. The forest thickened around them, alive, dangerous, and filled with the promise of both salvation and ruin. Lyra glanced at her companions, scared but determined. She felt herself changing, the burden of destiny now a purpose burning inside her. Whatever the next trial, she wouldn't face it alone. The forest closed around them, alive with unseen eyes and the sharp scent of magic. Each step away from the haunted Bonewater felt heavier, as if the trees themselves judged their resolve. Darkness stalked at their heels. Morgrath's threat still echoed in their bones. Rowan limped, sweat beading his brow. The curse clawed at him, draining his strength. Lyra took his arm, helping shoulder his weight. She tried to sound steady. "You're not alone. We'll get through this." Finn kept ahead, searching for danger. "Did you see how Morgrath looked at you?" he whispered to Lyra. "He knows you're the only threat." Erin's voice cut through. "Distract yourselves later. We need shelter. Heartgrove's entrance cannot be far." Suddenly the woods thinned and a clearing burst open, a circle of towering golden trees. At its center a crystalline altar shimmered, casting rainbow light onto a sleeping guardian, a great silver stag covered in shifting runes. Erin crouched, signaling silence. But Lyra felt a gentle pull, a warmth guiding her forward. The stag awoke, lifting its mighty head. Its eyes, old as the moon, met Lyra's. "You seek the gem," the stag spoke, voice like thunder wrapped in velvet. Finn looked ready to bolt, but Lyra stood firm. "We do, to heal Elendril and drive out darkness." The stag considered them, then spoke. "Hearts weighed down by fear cannot wield the Starfire. To prove your worth, face your truth. Step onto the altar, Lyra." Her breath caught. The altar shimmered with impossible color. Erin nodded encouragingly, Finn's confidence faltering but true, Rowan gripping her hand for support. She stepped up and, as light enveloped her, visions crashed in. Her hidden past, the loneliness of the orphan child, the fear of being too small for this destiny. But the faces of her friends broke through that darkness, reminding her that courage was born of unity, not perfection. A burst of radiant magic flared, forcing the shadows away. The stag bowed its head. "You have awakened the path. The final journey begins." As the last of the visions faded, Lyra felt stronger. No longer just fate's pawn, but its challenger. She turned, flame in her heart, and the group pressed toward Heartgrove, certain Morgrath lurked just beyond the light. The golden trees of the clearing faded into twisted, ancient oaks as they neared the border of Heartgrove. Stories claimed this last stretch was alive with spirits, a place where time tangled with memory, where truth and illusion danced together. The tension among the group was heavy. The Starfire Gem was close, but so was Morgrath. Every sound felt like a warning. Rowan's voice came thin through the leaves. "We're being watched." Erin notched an arrow, gaze sharp. "Stay together. No heroics." An icy wind whipped through, carrying with it the confused echo of Lyra's name. Finn's grip tightened on his dagger. "This place is wrong, like it doesn't want us here." Suddenly, pale figures materialized from the trees, ghostly children with sunken eyes. Their voices were a soft wail. "Lyra, come home. Join us in the dark." Lyra's knees buckled, darkness pressing from all sides, but she bit back her fear. "You're shadows, not truth." Rowan staggered, the curse blooming on his skin. Erin let loose a radiant arrow, which blazed through the illusions, dispelling the spirits. The path cleared, the pressure easing for a moment. But before anyone could breathe, a voice, sly and cruel, erupted from the gloom. Morgrath stood there, shadows spinning around him, his smile full of poison. "Even united, you tremble. What hope stands against the night?" "We stand." Lyra shot back, voice steady but trembling. "I see the darkness in myself, but it's not all I am." Morgrath raised his hands. The earth cracked, and a monstrous beast of shadow formed, its jaws dripping night, eyes glowing with malice. "Prove it. Survive." The beast charged. Erin's arrows flew. Finn dove at its flank. Rowan choked out a spell of blinding light, fighting his own darkness with desperate courage. Lyra screamed a word she had never spoken, magic surging through her like a river of stars. The beast hesitated, shadows twisting, then shrieked in pain, forced to retreat by the unity of their attack. Breathing hard, battered but unbeaten, the group pressed forward. The trees thinned, At the heart of the grove, they glimpsed it at last, the Starfire Gem hanging above an altar, shining with all the light of Elendril. But the worst, Lyra knew, was still to come. The air in the heart grove was thick with living magic, every blade of grass shimmering as if gifted with starlight. Lyra, Finn, Aaron, and Rowan gazed in awe at the Starfire Gem. Suspended above an altar carved with runes older than Elendril itself, the gem glowed brighter than dawn. Finn broke the spell. Is it safe to just take it? Aaron shook her head. Nothing this powerful comes without a test. Rowan, pale beneath sweat and shadow, whispered, The legends say only the one whose heart is pure may touch it. We have only one chance. Lyra approached, every step echoing through the hush. She could feel the gem's warmth, its strange pull. Voices, kind and cruel, old and young, rose in her mind. Fragments of her past, her failures, her darkest doubts. She faltered, but the memory of her friends steadied her. We do this together, she said softly. She reached out her hand, but before she could touch it, the ground trembled. Morgrath burst into the grove, wreathed in swirling black mist. His laughter curdled the air. You have traveled far, little sorceress, but the gem was never for you. It belongs to the Shadow Clan. He flicked his hand, sending a wave of shadow that hurled the friends apart. Finn landed hard, dazed. Aaron scrambled for her bow, but Morgrath snapped it in two with a snarl of magic. Rowan collapsed, the curse overtaking him, dark veins crawling up his throat. Lyra struggled to her feet. Morgrath towered before the altar, looming over the Starfire Gem. No, she cried, finding the last embers of her courage. She reached out, not alone, but filled with every lesson her friends had taught her, every scar, every act of kindness. For a moment, shadows and starlight warred in the air. The Starfire Gem blazed, pulsing in time with Lyra's heartbeat. Morgrath howled, recoiling from the light. Aaron crawled to Finn. Can you move? We must help. Finn nodded, teeth gritted. We stand together, we always have. All around the altar, the ground shook as the invisible barrier protecting the gem began to crumble. Lyra, standing against Morgrath, felt power surge within her. But she knew with certainty, this battle was not hers alone. The final confrontation had begun, and the fate of Elendril hung by a thread. Shadows and flame clashed within the heart of Heartgrove. Morgrath circled the altar, darkness twisting around him like serpents. Lyra stood across from him, breathing hard, every muscle taut, not from fear, but a deep, stubborn defiance born from all she'd suffered and learned. Finn helped Rowan to his feet, steadying the older man, while Aaron took her last silver arrow and pressed it into Finn's hand. For Elendril, for hope. Morgrath's voice thundered. You think unity makes you strong? Unity is weakness, pain for one, pain for all. With a savage gesture, he loosed a lashing wave of shadow energy. Lyra summoned a barrier of starlight, the strain almost buckling her knees. I used to be afraid of my own power, but this is what it's for. The blast cracked against her shield. Finn darted forward, Aaron covering him. He dodged a slash of darkness, reached Morgrath's blind spot, and drove the silver arrow home. The villain roared, but only stumbled, his form shifting, monstrous and unstable. Rowan gasped as the curse flared, almost choking him. But then, weak but clear, he reached for Lyra's shoulder. You don't have to carry this alone. Let us share the burden. Lyra's magic mingled with Rowan's light, Aaron's courage, Finn's hope. For a heartbeat, the four formed a circle around the gem. The altar blazed and the starfire pulsed, tearing open cracks in Morgrath's shadows. Morgrath shrieked, striking back with a desperate fury. You will never be enough. But Lyra shook her head. You're wrong. I am enough, because of them. Together they forced the power back, but the gem hovered in the air now, spinning wildly as its energy became unstable. Trees split, the ground shook, and arcane winds howled. Morgrath lunged toward the gem, one last savage grasp. At that final moment, all four friends threw their hands toward the starfire. Light and shadow ripped through the grove, vision blinding. Lyra heard the world split and spin apart. Had they won, or was everything lost? In the chaos and brilliance, the answer hung unresolved. A fragile hope suspended in the light as they were cast into the unknown. Light roared through the Heartgrove, sweeping Lyra and her friends into a world of kaleidoscopic vision. For a moment, all was silence and weightlessness. Lyra floated between shadow and starlight, her heart echoing with the voices of her friends. Finn's laughter, Aaron's resolve, Rowan's quiet hope. Then her feet gently touched earth, and colors melted into the world of Elendril once more. She blinked open her eyes to find the Starfire Gem in her hands, its power warm and steady. The altar's runes glowed in response, repairing the sundered ground, and gentle light poured over Finn, Aaron, and Rowan where they had landed nearby. Morgrath was gone. All that remained was a fading smear of shadow dissolving into mist. For a moment, only the wind spoke, rustling the leaves. Then Finn laughed, awestruck. "We did it! We're alive!" Aaron stepped forward, nodding solemnly, but even she was smiling. The darkness is broken for now. The light belongs to Elendril once more. Rowan knelt, the curse finally lifting from his skin as the gem's radiance passed over him. "You saved me, Lyra. You saved everyone." Lyra looked at the gem, doubts lingering. "It wasn't just me. Without you, without all of us, I'd have given in." A hush settled, and from the woods came the silver stag, wise and spectral. It bowed deeply. "You have fulfilled the prophecy, not by power alone, but unity. That is the true strength of mortals." The trees straightened, the air lightened, and in the distance, Elendril's towers shimmered with vibrant color returning. Birds sang. The world felt mended, hope growing in every corner the darkness had once touched. Yet for Lyra, the journey's end brought new questions. "I know the world won't stay peaceful forever, but we know now we're strong enough to face its darkness. Together," Finn teased. "Next time, let's find a nice treasure in a less haunted spot." Aaron's laughter was rare and bright, as long as there's no more shadow clans. Rowan smiled, hope returned to his eyes. "Let's go home." Hand in hand, the four walked back through the heart of the restored forest, the Starfire Gem pulsing softly. Behind them, Heartgrove healed and sparkled under a new dawn, proof that even the smallest light could keep darkness at bay, and that courage was strongest when shared. So ended the first great tale of Lyra of Elendril. Born an orphan, chosen by fate, but shaped by love, sacrifice, and the unbreakable bond of true friends.